I'm going to start teaching lessons in honor because a lot of martial artists aren't doing a good job. They're disgracing their masters, themselves, their families, their communities. It is dishonorable to pretend that you are better than someone who has a $3,000 challenge in the most common form of martial arts competition that shows transformable, translatable, transferable, universal, incontrovertible, and convertible skills. It should be very apparent. I'm very disappointed that a lot of people haven't learned that lesson. And over time, I've seen them, after giving it deep thought, of course, I've seen them stop to troll. We're starting to see a new angle being pushed here. Another thing that is dishonorable is when you see a top martial artist being covertly drugged and you're silent about it. Especially if you're a famous martial artist. Just the principle that they are doing this to a martial artist who is better than you are should be enough for you to take action and speak on it. It's one thing if his story is not believable. But when he has 10 other witnesses, it then becomes key to preserve the integrity of martial arts and martial arts traditions. There is no person more important to martial art traditions in the country than the top martial artist. It is dishonorable to try to pretend that you're honoring your master or a fellow student or someone you know by pretending that they are better. If a martial artist hasn't come to the conclusion that psychiatry is a fraud, then he's not really a martial artist, is he? Such blatant examples of dishonor that affect society every day couldn't possibly be missed by an insightful mind, and martial artists are supposed to be the most insightful. Even in the movies, this idea is communicated. The Karate Kid, for instance. Wax on, wax off. Teaching philosophies that pertain to martial arts and life. When to fight, for instance. Discipline. So, when martial artists are not sticking up for the best, it's really dishonorable. When martial artists aren't sticking up for the weak in society, it's really disappointing. And that is how it is. Another thing that is very disappointing is when a great martial artist is denied the admiration of potential wives. There shouldn't be a single attractive female in martial arts around that person's age that shouldn't feel compelled to be attracted to them or to desire them. And why wouldn't they? People are attracted to people who have things in common with them, right? And this is not just for me, this is, timeless advice. When you see the government is getting women to shun a great martial artist for telling the truth, they can't beat him in a debate, and martial artists are hiding from his challenge while he's fumed and drugged, it shows an appalling lack of understanding with the females in martial arts, with the Christians first and foremost. Because Jesus said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." Christian women do know that this man is desirable. He has character. He has devotion. He has deeper understanding. Martial art women are supposed to be known for their insight because they're martial artists. If you see a failure in judgment from martial art women and Christian women, then of course society at large must have failed. So the women in society at large, rather. You've got to understand these things. Because like it or not, the government, the Freemasons, and secret societies and political groups try to control reproduction. For example, if you were a conservative at a liberal high school, or a liberal college rather, you might find it hard to have a date. And women might go out of their way to make sure you have it hard, because they don't want you to have it easy in life. They want you to suffer for being the political opposition. Some of you don't even understand these basic ideas, much less eugenics. Whenever the government takes it upon themselves to control reproduction, and women roll with it, only a fool would respect them at large. You see, the top martial artist, being tall, dark, and handsome, very wise, obviously, if he's a top martial artist, from a good family, and on, all the right characteristics in a man, being shunned, is a symptom of women's bad judgment in general. Respect is earned, not given freely, for no reason. And so is disrespect. The government has made great strides to create a world in which good men are shunned. It is impossible to be anti-government and be controlled opposition, or to approve of the shunning of the top martial artist. So there's two main categories of women that are extremely despicable. One, attractive single women his age who aren't attracted to him. Why wouldn't they be? Because they have bad judgment. He's attractive, and he's among the best men out there. So a consistent rejection or dejection shows a bad judgment in women in general. You ever heard the saying, "Oh, you must be getting all the ladies"? I've heard that many times in my life. But obviously it's not true. The other type of despicable woman, who is probably more despicable than the first kind, almost certainly actually, is the type that approves of this. The type of airhead, gold digger, feminist, who would say it serves him right. It serves him right for wanting to have strong family values that raise healthy women who don't sleep around and get STDs and fall victim to complexes like feminists have. It serves him right for standing up against the government as uncontrolled opposition instead of joining us in our depravity and cowardice. This is rather detestable, and women need to really check themselves. They spend times in sororities and women's soccer teams and, groups of friends, cheerleaders, and women's rights groups. And there's a lot of groups of friends and organizations of women. And women are the more social sex. So when you see this as normal and commonplace, it is a very great disgrace. Now ask yourselves, if women are disgracing themselves commonly and effectively, why should you respect them? If they constantly display bad judgment, why should you pretend they have good judgment? Women chose to have bad judgment. They chose to be materialistic. They chose to shun me. And I humbly request that every good man from now until the end of humanity takes note of that and understands the deeper implication. Until women correct this, you should not respect them or see them as your equal. Whenever you see something or someone beneath you as your equal, you have lowered yourself. Think about it. Say you're a man of God with good judgment, and some fucking prostitute that has shunned men all of her lives and has a nerve to complain, shunned good men rather, all of her life, and has the nerve to complain about men, has consistent bad judgment, conforms to the government, aborts kids left and right, is a real bitch, demands that you see her as an equal, that you consider her opinion as much as you would, say, the Virgin Mary's or something. How despicable is that? It's despicable enough, the thought that she would expect you to see her as an equal. It's more despicable, the thought that she would expect you to respect her. But when all is considered and she actually expects that, it shows even worse judgment than she has already. If A does not equal B, then B does not equal A. It's that simple. So I ask all good men in the world, do not lower yourself to the point where you think someone with inferior judgment who has shunned the best men on the planet deserves your respect or for you to call them your equal. Do not respect materialism. When they make the argument that a good man is a loser because he takes the bus or he lives with his parents or he's broke, be disgusted. Have nothing to do with them. If you catch wind that a female is materialistic and first and foremost looks at what a man has going for him, how ambitious he is, how clever he is at navigating the Babylon system, how quote-unquote financially successful he is, have nothing to do with her. To each his own. If women cannot choose good men based on their good heart and not what they have going for them, they don't deserve us. We must go our own way. We must leave the dogs to breed with the dogs. We must leave the fleas to breed with the fleas. We must leave the maggots to breed with the maggots and the rats to breed with the rats. As much as I hate to say it, we must let this play out. I've been trying to talk sense into women for 7 years on YouTube alone, making videos alone. And pretty much for 20 plus years on the internet and in real life. They refuse to see the truth. Now pay very close attention to this last part. Think about this carefully. There is many a desperate woman that will take a man who they think is good looking, no matter what he believes. If he's pro-feminist, she'll roll with it. If he's a Christian, she'll roll with it. Do not mistake this for her being a good woman, and do not settle for any woman that you're not attracted to. I say it again. There's many a desperate female that will say, well, I'm not like that, or will give you that impression, or she'll take your side and say, yeah, I hate women like that. I hate bitches like that. But keep in mind that she'll tell you anything you want to hear because you're cute and she's desperate. And feminists will counter by saying beauty is only skin deep and this, that, and the other thing. Do not underestimate the importance of physical attraction in a relationship. Understand the difference between a friend and a lover, between wife material and friend material. Now, I'm not going to tell you whether to like thick women or thin women. I'm not going to say that. It's up to you. Whatever you're attracted to, you're attracted to. But do not be a fool and not heed my advice. I guarantee you, good men will suffer if they don't heed my advice. Don't settle for women with bad judgment. Don't fucking bend over backwards trying to please them. They have bad judgment. They need to do the other way around. They need to try to please you. You are a diamond in the rough. They're just another pretty face. There's not many of us good men left. And we should let this world go to hell if women refuse to do the right thing, if attractive women refuse to do the right thing. Let the rats breed with the rats. Let the rats inherit the earth. And let the meek inherit the earth spiritually.